Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. We have been discussing Sharan Kumar Limbale's The Outcast, an autobiographical extract which reflects the pathetic plight of Dalits or that of the low caste Mahar community of Maharashtra. This extract is basically focused on the picnic made by the little Sharan Kumar Limbale and his friends, and how they had faced different kinds of discrimination or politics during their picnic time and all that. Before moving on to the exercises, the question answers part, let's take a look at the caste discrimination in India and the emergence of Dalit literature. India is considered to be one of the few countries in the world where various parts of the local population practice different religions. Roughly 79.8% of the population practices Hinduism, which accounts for nearly 1 billion of the population as practitioners of the religion. Because Hinduism is considered to be one of the oldest religions in the world, dating back around 4,000 years, many subsystems have formulated, one of them being the caste system. The caste system is a religious hierarchy formulated to divide Hindus into rigid groups based on their karma and their duty. The system is divided into 5 main classes, with the Brahmins being considered the highest and most well respected, while the Dalits or untouchables are labeled the lowest class. For instance, people part of the Brahmin class fill the role of priests, thus attaining the highest form of respect within this system, whereas people of lower classes fill the roles of workers and cleaners, thus commanding far less respect than their upper counterparts. Each class also acquires a set of privileges. These privileges not only translate towards higher rights but also encompass the ability to repress the lower classes. So, lower ആയിട്ടുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലോവർ ക്ലാസ്സിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരെ മറ്റൊരു മാർജിനലൈസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടു എന്നുള്ളത് മാത്രമല്ല, അവരുടെ പല റൈറ്റ്സുകളും റിപ്രസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുകയും കൂടെ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, നിരാകരിക്കപ്പെടുകയും കൂടെ ചെയ്തതായിട്ട് കാണാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും. Its influence has been a primary source of controversy due to its unsettling presence in a number of cases regarding assault, rape, and murder. While the Indian government has enacted several laws formalized within the Constitution, such as Articles 12 to 35, which are not only dedicated to protecting the individual rights but also help abolish the caste system. The system's presence is one yet to be eliminated among certain sectors in India, primarily those in the more rural parts of India. This prevalence is particularly due to the fact that society itself is structured to keep this tradition going, and what this entails is that there are psychological barriers that have been implemented through decades of the system's presence and integration in society, thus making it difficult to get rid of such a rigid system. The Dalits or untouchables face the highest form of discriminations by the other groups within the caste system. The primary areas of which they are discriminated are education, work, and marriage. And we can see that they were not allowed to express their pathos in or through literature and all that. So before the advent of Dalit literature in India, much of Dalit history was oral in nature. Their lives were not available to them in written form, and even when available, it was a depiction by those who had no experiential connection with Dalits. അപ്പോൾ ദളിതനല്ലാത്ത ആളുകളിലൂടെയാണ് ദളിത് ലിറ്ററേച്ചർ ആദ്യം എമേർജ് ചെയ്ത് വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. സ്വന്തം വോയിസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്വന്തമായിട്ടുള്ള എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം അവർക്ക് ലഭിച്ചിരുന്നില്ല. It was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar who stressed on literary assertion as a means to struggle against the caste system. Thus began the ceaseless movement of literary assertion by Dalits, who went on to write powerful stories about their lives. It marked a resurrection of their experiential world, which had been appropriated by the pens of Savarnas. Poems, stories, novels, biographies, autobiographies produced by Dalits established a new body of literature in which, for the first time, the downtrodden took center stage. People who had been denied what humanity considers the basics started to transform the lives of others like them through the written word. As this movement of literary assertion by Dalits grew stronger, the unseen side of India, the side that is brutal and inhuman became visible to the world. And we can see it was a Maharashtra which plays a or which was a forefront for this revolution and all that. Maharashtra was at the forefront of this revolution that has over the last 6 decades helped transform the worldview about Dalit lives. We can see several writers who had come to the forefront to speak about their own lives, to give voice to their voiceless life and all that. One among these pioneers is Sharan Kumar Limbale. Sharan Kumar Limbale, he is a Maharashtrian author, poet and literary critic. As he himself describes, I am an Akarmashi, that means half caste. I am condemned, branded illegitimate. He was born as the illegitimate son of a high caste Patel, Hanmanta Limbale, and a poor, landless, untouchable mother, Masamai. As a result, Sharan Kumar neither belongs to Mahar community nor the Maratha caste. He is an Akarmashi, that is an outcast. We mentioned this earlier, that he neither belongs to high caste because he was born as an illegitimate son of a high caste father and a low caste mother. So he says that I don't belong to the high caste or low caste, I am an outcast. He had his education from Gramin Vidya Vikas Vidyalay, Chapalgaon, Sholapur and Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Mr. Limbale worked as a telephone operator in the Postal and Telegraph Department and an announcer in All India Radio, Sholapur, before getting appointed as an assistant editor and reader respectively at Yeshwantrao Chavan Maharashtra Open University. So we can see that after he had moved on to this profession, he started writing for the upliftment of the Dalit people and all that. About his vocation as a writer and an activist, he once said, "For me and for other Dalit writers, writing is a form of rebellion." So he took his pen and fought as a soldier, fighting for their rights, fighting for their denial of rights and all. Our protest is both on the streets and on paper. That was his words. My words are my weapons. Limbale has penned more than 40 books, but is best known for his autobiographical novel, Akarmashi, published in 1984, written in the Mahar dialect of Marathi language. And what we have here is the English translation of it. Actually, it is written in Marathi language, and this is a translated version. It was translated as The Outcast into English by Santosh Bhumkar in 2003 and into several other Indian languages including Malayalam, Hindi and Tamil. So we can see this text is available in Malayalam and all that, Akarmashi. And Limbale's Towards an Aesthetics of Dalit Literature is a seminal work on Dalit criticism, which was published in the year 2004. So considering this work, Akarmashi, he had wrote different other literary works which had reflected, which had portrayed, or which had clearly envisaged the sufferings and pathos experienced by the Mahar community and all that. Limbale defines literature, Dalit literature, as not the literature of imaginations, but literature of atrocities inflicted on the Dalits by high caste Hindus. So we can see that several other writers, Brahmin writers or Savarnas, they haven't considered Dalit literature as a perfect literary form because it missed a lot of colors. Since we can see that Dalit literature or Dalit writings reflected the stark reality faced by them, we couldn't find any good or happy moments in those works. So it missed those flavors and added colors which we can see in a Savarna writing. His significant works include Hindu, Bahujan, Dalit Brahmin and O. Other than Limbale, we can see few other Dalit panthers, that is Babu Rao Bagul, his Jev Me Jat Charoli, When I Had Concealed My Caste, published in 1963, was one of the significant early works in Dalit studies, and Bhama Faustina's Karuk, Arjun Dangal's The Poisoned Bread, Kancha Ilya's Why I Am Not a Hindu, and Om Prakash Valmiki's Judan heralded the new dawn of Dalit uprising and struggle for rights, which began with the publication of Akarmashi. So Akarmashi was a sort of inspiration for other writers also to express, acted as a triggering force or acted as a kind of fire that helped the other writers to come to the main stage and to express the realities they are facing in a very realistic manner through the Dalit writings and all that. So now let's discuss the exercises which is given at the end of your chapter. First of all, we can see 4 objective questions, and for you people, you don't need to expect as per the new question paper pattern, you don't have this objective questions and all that. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് 2 മാർക്കിൻ്റെ ചോദ്യം, 5 മാർക്കിൻ്റെ ചോദ്യം, പിന്നെ എസ്സേ, ആ രീതിയിലുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ് വരുന്നത്. ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് പഴയ പാറ്റേണിൽ 2019 അഡ്മിഷൻ ഓൺവേർഡ്സ് യു ഹാവ് ടു ഫോളോ ദ ന്യൂ പാറ്റേൺ. സീലിങ്ങോട് കൂടിയിട്ടുള്ള പാറ്റേൺ ആണുള്ളത്. 80 മാർക്സിൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പറാണ്, 20 മാർക്സ് ഇൻറ്റേർണൽ വരുന്ന പേപ്പറാണ് ZEITGEIST. ആൻഡ് ഇൻ ഫസ്റ്റ് സെമസ്റ്റർ യു ക്യാൻ സീ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എ 60 മാർക്സ് പേപ്പർ. ഫസ്റ്റ് സെമസ്റ്ററിൽ 60 മാർക്സിൻ്റെയാണ് ജനറൽ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് പേപ്പർ വരുന്നത്. ഇതിവിടെ നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നത് സെക്കൻഡ് സെമ്മിലേക്ക് കടക്കുമ്പോൾ ZEITGEIST ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് റൈറ്റിംഗ് ഫോർ academic and professional success, you have to score or the total score is 80 marks. Okay, so students who are doing distance education, they can expect such kind of questions as their MCQ, or people who had done this paper, who had this paper before 2019 admission, 2017 and 18 and all that, and they can also expect objective questions. But for others, you have a different pattern. You have only short answers, paragraphs and essays. Anyway, let's go through these questions. In which language was Akarmashi originally written? There are few options given here: Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Marathi. So definitely Marathi. He was a Marathi writer. Marathi is the answer. Akarmashi was originally written in Marathi. To which caste does Sharan Kumar Limbale belong to? The options are Brahmin, Mahar, Vani, Marwari. We know that all the other castes are considered as high castes, so the only exception there is Mahar. So he belongs to Mahar community. Which was the game played by the Vani and Brahmin boys during the picnic? So Vani and Brahmin boys, they were high caste boys, so they played Kabaddi. Okay, and what about the other low caste boys and girls? They played touch and go, and that's the 4th question. Which game did the boys of the narrator's caste play during the picnic? Touch and go. Okay, and what about the girls? They played Fugadi, right? And we have short answer questions. So why could Pasha not go to the picnic? So Pashayക്ക് പിക്നിക്കിന് പോവാൻ പറ്റില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ്? His mother Pavaratty, she came and she was really annoyed. She lashed at his back and all that. She abused him in front of his classmates. So what was the reason for that? His father is working in a farm and he had gone farm without having anything. So he is the one who should take food to him. Pavaratty, the mother, forced Pasha to take food to his father, who had left to dig pits. They are working in farms and all that, without eating anything. So he could not go to the picnic. Second question: how did Harya become an asset to the family? We had seen Harya sitting on the buffalo's back. He is singing. He feels happy. He seems to be happy and all that. And what is the reason? How he become the asset of the family? He is working in Girmalya's farm. He has been a dropout. He was the classmate of Limbale, but now he is working in a farm. He is not going to school and all that. While working in the farm, he can earn 100 rupees per year, as well as he can have food and all that. So considering these Dalits or these Mahar people, we can see that they were all half fed. So that problem of this breadwinning, that problem was solved by Harya. And his parents, or his mother especially, she doesn't have any clothes to wear. So he could be able to buy, after when he received this 100 rupees per year, he could be able to buy proper clothes for his family members. So thus he becomes a sort of asset to the family. He is providing and he is earning something, he is helping them, and it is revealed that they were not even given the right to enjoy all the basics. So he could be able to provide these basic things needed for a family, needed for a human being to survive. So thus he becomes the asset to the family. So Harya's family was a poor one. He was employed on Girmalya's farm. For his hard work, he received food and 100 rupees a year. Thus, he became an asset to the family. Third question, comment on the politics of separation in playing games. So we can see that there is definitely a politics in playing games and all that. What was the difference? Yes, first of all, it's a comment on the politics of separation in playing games. Yes, from the narration, from the extract, it's evident that there was politics in playing games. The high caste boys, they played kabaddi, and the low caste boys and girls, they played touch and go. And it is mentioned these two games were played separately like two different whirlwinds and all that. So definitely there is a caste based discrimination, and that discrimination created this sort of gap or this crack between these people, or particularly that of the kids. So this is what is injected from the early childhood onwards. See, they all are kids, they are playing. So whatever it is, if we are kids, when we were kids or when we were playing, what will happen? We will forget everything. There won't be any discrimination, or there won't be any hindrances before us based on color, caste, creed or race or anything like that. But here we can see that difference in our own country called India. Still we can see very brutal incidents happening in different parts of our country based on this caste and all that. So this caste system had created, this unethical or unreasonable caste system had created all these problems even among the kids, which made them to play different games. So you can mention that as the answer, and it is asked us to comment. So just write few words about the caste based system existing in India and all that, or what is mentioned in the narration and all that. Fourth one, what comments are given in the extract about the narrator's hunger? Okay. So we already mentioned about Limbale's writing style, or we had gone through the text clearly, and it is evident that he had used a lot of similes and metaphor. We can see a lot of comparisons is made, interesting comparisons is made, but this writing is basically a stark reality about their own pathetic life. That is the reality that we have to accept. However, how much it is dipped in these kinds of humor and all that, what he had expressed is a clear picture of the pathos that was experienced by the writer. അപ്പോൾ അയാളുടെ വിഷമങ്ങൾ ആളെ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് ഈ പറയുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെ കുറച്ച് രസകരമായിട്ടുള്ള രീതിയിലുള്ള ഫിഗേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് സ്പീച്ചുകളിലൂടെയൊക്കെയാണ്, പലതരത്തിലുള്ള കമ്പാരിസൺസിലൂടെയൊക്കെയാണ് പറയുന്നത്. ഔൾസിനെ പോലെ ഹി ഹാഡ് കമ്പയർഡ് ഹിംസെൽഫ്, ഓർ the Maha boys, he had compared the Maha boys and girls as owls. And we could see his hunger is expressed in one paragraph itself. What his mother used to call ninte vayru thaneyano, is it your stomach or is it akal coat and all that. And she used to say, there is a gizzard, I think there is a gizzard in your stomach. ഒരു വേറൊരു കുടലും കൂടെ, വേറൊരു വയറും കൂടെ ഉള്ളൊരു പെരുവേരനാന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. And we can see he had described his hunger as a cave of hunger. It's a sort of metaphor that he is used, the cave of hunger. വിശപ്പിൻ്റെ ഗുഹയാണ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ അത്രമാത്രം ഇൻറ്റൻസിറ്റിയോട് കൂടിയിട്ടാണ് ആ ഒരു ഹങ്കറിനെ ഇവിടെ കാണിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് അർത്ഥം. And he had called this stomach as a graveyard which had swallowed all the deads. സോ ആ ഒരു ഹങ്കറിൻ്റെ ഇൻറ്റൻസിറ്റി കാണിക്കാൻ ഒത്തിരി, ഒരു പാരഗ്രാഫ് തന്നെ അദ്ദേഹം കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഭംഗിയായിട്ട് ഈ പറയുന്ന കുറേ കമ്പാരിസൺസ് അദ്ദേഹം നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒരു ശ്മശാന ഭൂമിയാണ്, ഒരു ഗുഹയാണ്, ഒരു പെരുവയറനാണ്, അക്കൽക്കോട്ടാണ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് ഇങ്ങനെ വളരെ മനോഹരമായിട്ടുള്ള ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അത് ഭംഗിയായിട്ട് എഴുതുക. ഓക്കെ. ഫിഫ്ത്ത് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, what made Girmalya's farm quiver in the narrator's stomach? Definitely we can see this. So when we had read the extract, we had gone through this part. It was his mother who made Girmalya's farm quiver in his stomach. What was the reason? They were not given proper food, they were not provided with their basic rights, and they were having all those low quality bakris, chutneys and all that. So in their whole lifetime they would be having this good food or fried food once or twice. So she's complaining that why can't he bring a small portion of it for her, because leftover food is nectar. She wished to have some. So that statement made by mother made Girmalya's farm quiver in the stomach of the narrator. Sixth question, We sat like owls watching them. What were they watching? So we can see that there is a discrimination among these boys and girls based on their caste, and they were asked to sit under another tree. So here we can see that the high caste boys and girls, they are sitting along with their teachers and they are playing games with them and they are sharing food with them. They are sitting together. These high caste children, they were sitting very close to their teachers. They were enjoying, they were happy, they were laughing, they were chatting and all that. So these low caste boys, just think about those kids. They felt really guilty. They felt ashamed of having their food. They felt really guilty of being separated from this society, separated from even from their classmates, even from their teachers. So this reality, this harsh reality is expressed through the expression that they all sat and watched just like owls. So the high caste boys and girls from the village school were eating together during their picnic. The girls sat close to their teachers and chatted with them. The narrator and other low caste boys and girls were not allowed to mingle with them. They were considered as separated and they sat like owls watching them. Okay. 7th question. What did the teacher ask the students to do the day after the picnic? What did the teacher ask the students to do? He asked them to write an essay on the picnic, to share their experiences, to share what all things they had gone through during that picnic day and all that. And we know that what happened when he asked him to write. So that's the next question. What did the teacher do when he saw the narrator apparently doing nothing in the class the next day of the picnic? What did the teacher do? The teacher grew annoyed and he scolded him. He called him son of a bitch and a beef eater. So just think about the plight of a little kid who was startled by these abusing words and scolding of his teacher. Just because he was embarrassed or he was in a dilemma about what to write. He don't have anything good to write. He don't have any good experiences in life. He haven't enjoyed that picnic at all. He was discriminated, or he or his community was discriminated. They were considered as separated. They have to play separate games. They have to have food separately. And how can he write a good experience? How can he write an essay? So that way of expression is obstructed by these thoughts and realities. So how can he write? So this is the plight that is depicted through this extract, Sharan Kumar Limbale's Outcaste, the oppression, the suppression faced by the Dalit group, the Mahar community in Maharashtra, and it is basically the denial of human rights. We'll meet you in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, all of you take care. Read the text, go through the questions. There are a few more questions as paragraph and essay questions. It is just a reiteration of what we had already mentioned in the class. So just go through it. All of you take care. Be safe and be strong. Thank you. Bye-bye.